get these premonitions, where, usually situations that are kind of calm before a storm. Last week I saw two articles. Last week I saw one, and this week I saw one. One article said that it was an obscure article posted in Arut Sheva, of all places, which I actually was surprised, but a friend of mine explained to me that the person who wrote it is actually, so to speak, has his head on straight. So the article said that basically the it's possible that it weakens. There's a study, or they are studying. By they I mean scientists, whether or not weakens immune systems, your system. Then there was actually a similar article about basically the same thing in CNN. Again, very obscure. Nobody really paid attention. And then I saw an article, I think it was yesterday. The article came out 2 days prior. I think it was either The Guardian or Daily Mail. I can't remember, one of those two British, you could tell it was a British one, or I remember it was a British one because they had, they have the headline, and they usually have basically the entire gist of the article. They have 3 or 4 bylines under the headline. That's just how they do things, and then they actually get into the article. So I don't remember if it was Guardian, or I think it was Guardian, Daily Mail, and it was talking about how, it was asking the question, why do people who have side effects don't get compensated. And it actually said in the article, most people are okay, but for the few unlucky ones, unlucky, luck of the draw, randomness. For the few unlucky ones, first of all, it's not few, but for the few unlucky ones, there doesn't seem to be any compensation. And then get into the whole legal aspect of it, and how, these companies are immune from, shmayability, all this kind of stuff. Those of you guys watching me the first time, if you're wondering why I'm using the word sha, or the pronunciation sha before the word, because I'm talking in code. Because if I say this openly, guys, this video is going to be removed. So, and I saw just these two little drops, the two little droplets, right? And I'm thinking to myself, these guys, the way they do things, by these guys I mean, I don't want to use the term powers that be, because that's going to make me sound, whatever, but the media, the people in charge, the corporations running the media, these people like to do things in a subliminal way, just like they did this over years, and even more recently, over some months, subliminally, not even so much subliminally, I mean what I call overtly subliminally, bringing their messages to kind of brainwash people, the majority of people, or at least 50% of the people, into doing what they want them to do. I think when it comes to essentially backing away, and essentially maybe even admitting that they did something wrong, and kind of easing people into it, I have a sneaking suspicion that they are starting, some of these people, especially who have trouble, either have their head on straight, like you and I, or have trouble sleeping at night a little bit, they're going to start writing such articles and publishing such articles. With that said, you see, it's very obscure, it's very, they even said in the article about the, the compensation, they said, but don't get me wrong, let's not get it wrong, these things save lives and all this kind of stuff, and blah, 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 blah. As Jose Mourinho, the soccer manager, would say, papa pia, papa pa, papa pia, papa pa. All the rest of it. They're releasing articles slowly, a little bit. We're starting with, they probably said, let's start with 2. CNN will do one, and, about the studies, and we'll do one over here in England about the compensation. We'll just kind of ease people into the consciousness of whatever it is that is coming. Whatever it is that's coming down the pipeline, and it's going to be coming in waves, right? It's going to be coming in like a tsunami, guys. This is the feeling that I have. What's funny is, guys, I didn't really need those 2 articles or 3 articles to tell me that. I knew that intuitively, but this is just confirmation, right? But guys, I'll tell you something. I don't know what it is. I feel like in the coming, this summer, and probably by the time we get to the Hagim, if not Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, for sure, we're talking about Sukkot. We're gonna find out something, and I'll tell you like this. Let's say the Republicans win the House here in the States. We know that there's going to be investigations, at least with the origin of this thing, and we know what the origin was. We know. I talked about this guy, Andrew Huff, who basically used to work for that company, Shmiko Schmelz Alliance, and he basically says outright, what the origin was. We know. And we know that these people who were responsible, we know that they know, we know that they're covering it up. So in advance of that happening, guys, first of all, they're going to try to do everything possible to, obviously ruin things for the Republicans, for the Republican side. They're not going to. But we know also that they're going to want to publish things in the media so that they could say, see, we're taking responsibility. Because if they just publish things in the media, then they are in control of kind of the narrative. Sorry guys, just got disconnected. So basically they're in control of the story. I don't know where I lost you guys. As opposed to, somebody in Congress, subpoenaing them and all this kind of stuff. You could say, well, they're probably going to subpoena them anyway, based on the articles. Okay. Well, the thing is, once the articles are out, they're the ones in charge of the articles. So the articles can write things any way they want. Sure, there could be investigations, but the people pay attention to media, what's all over the media. They don't pay attention to investigations. Guys, you see, there's been investigations. The whole Hillary thing, right? They came out with some articles saying, 2 things. One was that the Sussman guy, Schmillery gave the go-ahead to do this whole fake thing. And another article came out, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, where Bill Barr, out of all people, basically said that, this woman could be charged for sedition, like literally treason, right? Sorry, guys. So, but, is anybody paying attention, guys? Not really. Not really. Investigations are going on. As we say, as Frank and I like to say, everything's moving way, 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 way too slow. Way too slow. And nothing's happening. And even if it moves fast, nothing's happening. There's not going to be any consequences with investigations. Guys, the only time we see consequences for anybody, or at least, somebody, so to speak, suffering as a result of, some findings, whether they be real or fake, is when the media latches onto it, and the media just, goes full force barrage on it, right? Guys, I just want to say, right now the media, they have no incentive to publish articles about this stuff and how it might be problematic, and also how people are, supposed to get compensation. People who have issues supposed to get compensation. Also problematic for your immune system. They have no incentive right now. Why? Because right now everything is, so to speak, okay, and they are, since they are in cahoots with these companies that provided the stuff, they're in cahoots with governments, media, governments, and these companies. There's no reason why would they throw their friends, the cash cow, and, so to speak, the political cow under the bus. But guys, once they see that there is no good reason for them to be allied with these guys, for the media to be allied with these companies and politicians, they are going to start writing, and they're going to say, see, we did our job, our journalism, our journalistic duty. We wrote the articles, we wrote them when the whole world was writing them. My friends, you know how this goes. It's probably gonna take one, let's say, a journalist who is already prominent, who is already kind of respected, to basically publish an article, an extensive, kind of like Matt Taibbi did with Goldman Sachs and this whole situation, and I think it was with Madoff. It's gonna take, and I mentioned this before, what is it gonna take for the Madoff downfall, right? For the Madoff-like downfall, for the Ponzi scheme, for the medical Ponzi scheme to collapse, guys. What is it going to take, right? It's going to take for a guy to write a very long expose in one of these highfalutin, fancy schmancy magazines, whether it be Rolling Stone or New York Magazine, and someone's going to have to let him do it. If he doesn't do that, or if he doesn't publish it there, it's probably going to happen either on one of these like Substack, or there's another one I forget. One of these kind of respected but not lefty ones, right? Like extensive expose, detail, all this kind of stuff, to the point where they're gonna have to call congressional hearings, and they're gonna have to call this person in, or they're gonna have to call in the people that are mentioned in the article, which includes this point, guys, or in this particular case, Mr. Shmurla, Mr. Mousy again, Mr. Schmansel of Shmamurna. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we know the arc of the story. We already know how these stories go. I said this yesterday to someone, I think it was on Twitter. I said, and they were talking about, when is this all going to come out already? I said, if you want to know how this is going to end, if you really want to know how this is going to end, and I said this to a non-Jewish person, go look up, read about the Shabtai Tzvi fiasco, ladies and gentlemen. This guy came out, savior of the Jewish people, savior of the world, essentially Mashiach, and the Jewish world was in a frenzy. Even the non-Jewish world, but for sure the Jewish world, people followed him, and there was a big, very, respected rabbis, respected congregations, a lot of wealthy people threw money at him. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, this is a typical story. Very charismatic, do a lot of Torah, Kabbalah, this, that. Guys, and we know how it ended. The person ended up converting to Islam we know that Mashiach, if somebody tries to put a sword to somebody like that and says convert to another religion, he will say, I'm going to die on Kiddush Hashem, saying Shema Yisrael. Guys, right then and there, the minute that person, people already sensed that he wasn't Mashiach, but the minute he converted to Islam under the sword, we understood that this person is not it. But my friends, a lot of people, the Jewish world had a serious crisis, morale crisis, moral crisis, confidence crisis, Emunah crisis, bitachon crisis, spiritual crisis. The Jewish world was spun to the point where, guys, you know how bad it got? To the point where, guys, if you walk into any yeshiva today, you'll find a book in there called Mesilat Yesharim, Mesilas Yesharim, Path of the Just. It was written by Reb Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, the Ramchal. It was actually just his Yortzeit last week, I believe. Rabbi Kessler was celebrating it. So, guys, you know that when that book was written shortly after, Ramchal lived shortly after the, Shabtai Tzvi fiasco. So, when Ramchal, who was a genius, he was a kid prodigy, Ilui, published that book, my friends, or any book he published, he was chased, basically all around Italy. He was chased around Southern Europe, all over the place, all over Italy, and people didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear about, this kind of Jewish philosophy, Kabbalah-based philosophy. They were afraid. They were like, we're not going to get into this whole new Shabtai Tzvi fiasco. The last time we got into this, look what happened. But my friends, you fast forward, 400 years? And this book is a staple in every yeshiva. But my friends, even at that time, nobody wanted to hear about this book and other books written by the same guy. Nobody wanted to hear it. That's how bad it got, guys. So now, fast forward to today, guys. If you think about the medical establishment, guys, if you think about all the, there's a lot of good things that they do. Guys, after what's about to happen, no one is going to want to take any pharmaceuticals from these companies ever again. People are going to be very distrusting of just conventional medicine. They're going to be distrusting of doctors. They're going to really, at best look into kind of with a microscope, what is their doctor doing? What is the what is the drug that the doctor is giving them? What is the shawarma company doing? What are they producing? My friends, and there's going to one or two things going to happen. Oh, actually, two things are going to happen. One is people are going to turn away from that industry, and they're going to turn to natural means of natural medicine. We're talking about homeopathic. We're talking about alternative medicine. We're talking about Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine, all these different kind of things. We're talking about just natural stuff. You guys want to say, oh, it's a bunch of hogwash and this, guys. I mean, I'm sorry to tell you, if you know what you're doing, if you go to a person who knows what they're doing, it's great. It works. It's great. It's effective, and it works. It does work. At the very least, they say do no harm, right? Doctors take an oath to say do no harm. So at least it doesn't harm, right? Let's say it doesn't work, but it's not going to make it worse, or it's not going to cure you and give you horrific side effects. That we know. Or some kind of crazy toxicity. Unless you give somebody, let's say you're doing homeopathic stuff and you give them, instead of the homeopathic distilled, the little pellets, you give them like the actual plant. And then it's a problem, right? Obviously, the toxic, whatever. Crazy doses. But short of that, it at the very least doesn't harm. It can't hurt, right? It can only help if it helps. So guys, I have this weird feeling, I have a very, very weird feeling that the world, not just the Jewish world, the world is about to see something akin to a combination of the Madoff fiasco and the Shabtai Tzvi fiasco. Where basically, people are going to lose faith in, the whole system, right? If they haven't already. But not only that, these guys are going to be uncovered as there's specific people involved who are going to be uncovered. It's probably the biggest fraudsters, in the history of both business and medicine. They're going to be considered bigger fraudsters than Madoff. Really. Bigger. Much, much bigger. Because here, with Madoff, you're talking about money. Obviously, people lost their money, livelihood. But here, there were some people who committed suicide, but here you're talking about not only billions of dollars that were made, but you're also talking about billions of people who suffered. You're talking about, 3 billion, 4 billion people that took this stuff, guys. It's scary, guys. It's scary. And now, people are going to be like, oh my God, what do I do? They're going to fall on their face and they're going to say, what do I do? They're going to be clamoring for any kind of shmishmaks. Really. Guys, and the thing is, the sick people, the sickos who did all this, they are actually going to, they're really not going to care that they got uncovered, because they're going to say to themselves, well, listen, at least we did our job. What was their job? To cull the schmopulation, right? They did their job. If you come to Gil Bates, Schmates, if you come to Cotton Swab, Santa Claus, Cotton Swab, if you come to all these people, they're happy that they did what they did. Actually, well, they're not so happy, because Schmates said it wasn't enough. We didn't do enough. There was not enough compliance. There was not enough next time, instead of 2 years, a year and a half, we're going to do it within 6 months or within 3 months. It wasn't enough. What did this guy say, Shmurla, at the Shmurl, speaking on the Shmurl recently, 2 days ago? We're working on a plan to bring 50% of the people who can't afford our stuff, to get it to them. Dude, I read that as code. I don't know about you guys. To me, it was code like, we're working on a plan to just, 50% of the people. Peace out, Cub Scout. You know what I'm saying? God forbid. Guys, this is what I'm my intuition is is never wrong. The only time I'm wrong is when I go against my intuition. And I paid for that when I do. When I go with my intuition, which is usually very good, I prosper. When I go against it, it's not so good. So my intuition tells me, guys, that there's going to be a downfall. Friend Hadass is writing, they're going to wake up and then fall right into the hands of the evil one who acts like he empathizes with them and will solve their... Yeah, listen, what's going to happen? A bunch of people, and then again, the same people that did this are going to, we have the solution. And these people are going to go to them. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if that happens, stay far, far away. Guys, I'll give you an example. Right now, and I'm doing a mea culpa. There's I'm in cryptocurrencies. There's a coin that recently collapsed. One of these tokens called Terra Luna. You guys probably heard about this whole story, right? So what happened? A bunch of people lost a bunch of money, billions of dollars collectively, right? And so what is this? Like completely, I don't know, empathy lacking, autistic, narcissistic guy by the name of Do Kwon from Korea, the guy who created this Terra Luna. What does he do? He basically says, okay, the community wanted him to do what? They wanted him to, he mints a bunch of, trillions of coins, sending the price crashing down. So everybody's like, come on, man, just burn the coins. What do you need to burn the coins? You have to buy them and send them to an address, whatever. It's a whole thing. It costs money to do that. So the community's like, burn the coins, man. Help people get their money back. Please, burn the coins. What are you doing? He's like, he literally is tone deaf, so he's like, all right, guys, I have a plan. I'm going to come out with a new version of Luna, and based on how many coins you had of the old one, I'm going to airdrop you and give you for free the new Luna. So basically, he gives people who lost $1 million, he gives them $10,000. Let's just say, ratio wise. And people like me got, $500, $300. Mind you, so he releases this new coin. The old coin is still around at a very cheap price. So I invested in the old coin. I'm making a couple of bucks in it, whatever it is. Guys, but the point is, people who lost money in the old coin, some of them are going to be holding, they're going to get free coin, new coin, and they're going to be holding the new coin, hoping that the new coin's going to go back up. Guys, you know what's happening on Twitter right now? All these people are writing, hey guys, let's dump the new coin, when you get the airdrop, if you hold the old coin, dump the new coin and buy more of the old coin. It's called Terra Classic, right? Guys, smart people know to stay away from the person who hurt them, right? The person who hurt them, he has nothing to do now with the old coin, ostensibly. He has everything to do with the new coin. He wants to rebuild, whatever. Guys, if somebody who hurt you claims to have the antidote for whatever it is that they gave you to hurt you, stay far, far away from those people, from that person. Stay far, do not comply. Ignore them. Pretend they don't even exist. Just stay away from them. So guys, anyway, I'm coming up to my exit here. I need the map. So guys, what can I say? History, I think it was Einstein that said it. History doesn't exactly repeat. It rhymes. Alright? It rhymes. So guys, we're about to have one hell of a rhyme. One hell of a nursery rhyme we can tell our kids and grandkids. All right, guys.